The easy to build kits are back. It's Age of Sigmar release weekend, and boy, what an exciting time, man. I tell you what, I am super excited to get my box set all open, get some models on the board, and figure out this 18-page rulebook and everything I need to know to get playing. Now, Games Workshop has made it a lot easier to get into some sort of Age of Sigmar. Of course, I recommend everybody at least try it out, right? It's completely different. It's a little bit more complex than what it was. It went from 4 pages to 18 pages. You don't even have to go all in. Like maybe just pick up one of these box sets. Easy to build sets. They're $15 each, no matter which one you get. There's 2 Nighthaunt ones and 2 Stormcast Eternal ones that might just be the right thing to get you into the game. Finally, you don't have to spend $60 on any of the books, or $35 on the books, or $160 on the box set, or anything like that, right? So it's pretty good value just to kind of get a cursory look, download the 18-page core rules off their website, and battle some guys. I also thought at first that I think a lot of folks did at Warhammer Fest that these would be a new Shadespire warband, because they're that same awesome quality that those guys are. These are made in the UK. They're not made in China and imported over and all that. They're easy to build, so they're going to be pretty easy to put together. Now, of course, we're going to unbox and build these and compare them to some of the chain gangers from the Soul Wars box set, just to see how well detailed they are and such, and kind of get a better idea. But overall, they generally tend to be a little bit more detailed in there. So the first one we're opening up is the Sequators. And what I found interesting in here is obviously they're marketing it for a day one Age of Sigmar purchase. So it's going to come with the instruction book. It's going to come with your next steps, like, hey, pick up one of these, or maybe pick up the core rule book, some terrain, or maybe one of the books right there. It does come with a decal sheet, and these are that really striking gold. It's a little bit more yellowy gold, more like a burnished gold than perhaps what we saw in the past with some of the Stormcast models for the Farstriders, or that first set, I forget their name, first set of 3 that came with the starter box. So very similar to what you would see in an actual Shadespire box set, right down to the molded bases and everything. So I suppose at some point they can come out with cards for these guys and be like, hey, upgrade your ETB kits over to Shadespire, surprise expansion or something like that. But no idea if that is the case. We'll go over the rules a little bit for all these guys too, and their points cost according to the General's Handbook. But here's the detail. Again, you can tell they are very well detailed. We'll put one of these together. Now, I know for a fact that these come in a minimum squad size of 5. So you get 8 in the Soul Wars box. So if you're going to want to run 2 full squads, you do need to pick up this set right here in order to get enough to field 2 minimum squad size for Age of Sigmar. But overall, I really like the detailing and everything like that for these guys right here. So rules wise, here you go. I'm not gonna break it down for you because we got to do some building and other stuff here, but just know that their minimum squad size is 5, and that they are 120 points for those 5 models. Rules wise, they don't seem too bad on paper right now, but I don't know the whole big picture from the Soul Wars box and how these kind of fit into the myriad of other Stormcast Sigmarines out there right now. Next up is the Castigators with Griff Hound. Another great kit for $15. Can't go wrong with it. Comes with a decal sheet, your instruction manual, which will go over the rule book and everything, and the 2 sprues for them. Again, that yellowy kind of gold with the very intricate, easy to build miniatures here with all that great detail. You'll probably spend more time actually painting the bases than you will miniatures, is what I've been finding on for the Age of Sigmar guys. We did a really cool lava tutorial, the Mogwar's Fiends, if you know who these guys are, for Shadespire. All that lava detail work in there. We saved a lot of time with the airbrush, but let me tell you what, if I had to paint that by hand, would have been a little rough, but we got through it, and I think they turned out pretty well. So like I said, detail wise, looking great. Now the Castigators are 3 of them for 80 points, so you actually get enough in here for a full squad. The Griffhounds, they field them with squads of 4 or 6, excuse me, for 140 points. So I'm not exactly sure, and I haven't read the rules. Again, we've got a lot of ground to cover today, but there's the rules, and just pause it and take a look at it. Not exactly sure how it all fits in. But as far as Griffhounds go, they seem like they're Griffhound. So I'm not exactly sure how they work into all this. But again, at some point, we may see this be a Shadespire expansion, I suppose. You could always throw cards in these. I don't really know what to make of it, but they are definitely that same quality and that same build and layout on the sprue even as the Shadespire miniatures. Next up is the Murn Banshees, of course, with the spooky, eerie kind of glow right here. It definitely reminds me of a lot of those cool death miniatures that are out there. I don't know how to pronounce this. Maybe it's a play off of Murn, you know, like Achilles, Myrmidons. Like I don't really know what that is. I mean, it is symbolic for death, I suppose. So that would definitely make sense there. Really interesting sprue. I mean, there's a lot of pieces here with a lot of depth to them. So you're gonna get some really cool three-dimensional minis here. You know, we'll slap some together here in a second just to give you an idea of the size and everything. But definitely digging it. Again, the bases are very intricate. I'm not sure how the rest of the minis go together quite yet. I'm sure they'll have a lot of like hollow space and things up here, which definitely makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about the rules. English is good for most of us, I suppose. So these guys are 4 for 80 points, which makes sense because there's 4 in the box. There's the rules right there. So give a little pause real quick. It does appear that they are summonable, so I'm not exactly sure how all that's going to work with the new summoning rules in the General's Handbook. So we're going to have to do a little bit of research there. So there's a lot of cross-referencing and things to do. Again, you know, this is release weekend. We're moving fast. We're just trying to get a lot of this content out there and show you the minis. Last but certainly not least on the unboxing circuit here is the Glaive Wraith Stalkers. Now, these guys do come in the Age of Sigmar Soul Wars box, which you get, guys, you get 5 of these in the box, but I think their minimum squad size is 4. So you get an extra one, but I think there's a special character or something. I'm not exactly sure. Well, maybe that's the chain game, guys. Either way, you're gonna have enough for 2 squads, no matter what you do between the Soul Wars box and this. I mean, right here as a squad in and of itself. So again, that spooky kind of bluish, what was it, Night Haunt ghost kind of color that's very similar to the texture or the new tentacle paint that they put out that I love. That well, actually, let's compare it. Yeah, it's a little bit, not too. So here they are, and they appear once again to be all computer kind of sliced and diced into half. I'm definitely going to recommend that you use a lot of that thin super glue to get in those cracks and help seal it up, and then anything that kind of squirts out on the sides you can scrape away with your seam scraper, your X-Acto knife, or you know, the mold line remover, as GW likes to call it. So there's all that. And for the rules, like I said, 4 of them for 60 points. Get you the English here. Haven't exactly done a lot of looking at these, but there it is. You can just pause it and kind of check them out. Okay, wow. I was genuinely impressed with the builds of these. Of course, we got the Sequators over on the left here, and the Castigator Duders, the Shooty Duders on the right. It's just happened to pick the heroes, which I thought was pretty neat. They go together, and they have very, very striking poses. Love the detail work on here. As a matter of fact, this one has 2 different inserts. So if you want to do the lady with lady face or with helmeted face, you also have that option as well, which I thought was pretty neat. Hadn't seen a twin option in a kit like these quite yet, but true to form, easy to build. Just clip them off and literally push fit them together. And what I like about these too is that Games Workshop hides the seams so well to like where the cracks and stuff would be, like right here on the little line. Like you can't see it, but that's a seam line right there. Like it'll never show. It'll just like hide in the detail. And look up here underneath the underarm and stuff. Like you can't see any of that on the model itself, like for most part. Same with this one here, except for going across the middle right there on the shoulder pad, which if you squeeze it together and actually use some glue, it probably won't show that much. But you know, they definitely do their design magic to really hide that stuff, and they put like the pouch on the outside right there that really makes it hard to see that there is a line going down. So I really like, and right here on this ribbon, it runs down the seam of it, but you can't really see it because there would be a natural depression right there, a natural contrast, which is pretty crazy once you start thinking about it. Now, I have some of the Shadespire duders already painted up right here, the Farstrider guys. So I wanted to compare and contrast them right here and see just how they look about the same. The incredibly detailed bases right there, and about the same sizing and everything like that. Of course, the ladies are going to be a little bit smaller because let's face it, that's just how our bodies are designed. Okay, so he's obviously standing up, so it's going to be, I suppose, apples to apples comparison with that right there. And obviously, just a little smaller, which definitely makes sense, man. I tell you what, that leaves hope for the Sisters of Battle coming out with some of the designs we're seeing coming from these guys. Now, on the Nighthaunt side of things, here they are, and here's how they can compare to some of the Stormcast dudes. So very, very big, very cool profile, lots of hollow areas. Now, these ones going to be a little bit more difficult. Like I said, I just squeezed them together. I didn't use any glue. I didn't use knives or anything like that. This is what GW expects folks to do that aren't hobbyists. And for the most part, they go together pretty well. You're going to see that crack across there, so you're definitely going to want to use some Vallejo plastic putty to seal it up, or some super thin cement. These guys, however, it hides a little bit better, but not too much. There's going to be a little bit of a crack there. But I mean, for the crazy, like, phasing through a little piece of ruin right there, look, it just is, it's very well done. I mean, just the whole profile, the underneath being hollow, even though it squeezes together, and you can see the little area right there where it sockets in. I'm thoroughly impressed with these miniatures. They just seem like, for 15 bucks, I mean, obviously we know these things don't cost that much for them to produce, but to design and put them together and then offer them to folks as a cool, affordable alternative to picking up something else this weekend that might be, you know, $160, cough, cough. It's just neat, and it's gonna, you know, help to grow our hobby. And as our hobby grows, you know, we all grow together, we all rise with the tide, which is really cool and exciting times for the past several years for the tabletop hobby, and of course Games Workshop overall there. So that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed our unboxing and build of the new Age of Sigmar Stormcast and Nighthaunt miniatures. $15 each, available Age of Sigmar 2.0 second edition launch weekend. If you like these type of videos here on the channel, make sure to work out those hobby muscles, hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our new videos.